And here we have Sobble from Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is a drawing that I've done earlier based on the images that you find online, and I've sort of coloured it in my own style. I've got the blue pen that I'm going to use to do the rough outline first. So here we go. Just tracing that shape over the top of the page before I actually put my pencil down. You can see it starts with sort of circular head there. Now, you can see that's a little bit bigger than the head that's there, but what's important is the proportion of this size of this shape to the other parts of the body. So I'm just going to make the other parts of the body a little bit bigger as well. This line that comes down the middle will dictate where that peaks there, that line in between the two eyes. You can see the line on the left is a little bit shorter because, again, the curvature of the face is moving away. So you're going to have that. Let's make sure we've got, so the line that goes across the face is at a slight angle. I feel like his head is slightly tilted. And he's got this long, sad mouth, which that's a little bit high. So let's draw that a little bit lower. Quite a big eye. Another big eye here. Some nostrils there. Maybe that line isn't quite right either. So you can just correct stuff as you're going along. You're probably drawing this in pencil, so it doesn't matter too much now. Just getting it roughly right. So Sobble has this great personality, this sort of like slightly worried personality. I feel like he feels a lot. That's my feeling about Sobble. So again, so this is sort of made of two circles. We'll link the lines here with the circles for this fin, shall we call it? And then another circle for the body again. So the head is slightly bigger, so we'll make the body slightly bigger, but still very small in proportion. In fact, you can see 1, 2, 3 circles here for the tail, the body, and the head. And the body is the smallest, the tail is the second smallest, maybe a little bit smaller than the head. That could just be because it's a little bit further back. But that's quite a nice proportion. You see that combination of shapes. And these legs are made a lot out of just very simple lines. So the knee bends up here as he's squatting down. So we don't need to do too much detail to these. This arm comes in front of that back leg. And we've got another arm that comes, so you can see the shoulders would be effectively here, because obviously these would need to line up. We'd want to learn a little bit about the anatomy of these Pokemon. I think the Pokemon are great for actually sort of learning the initial anatomy, so basic anatomy for some animals and things. You know, some of the other creatures that they created are based around the real anatomy for horses and things. So they're great to draw for getting to know those features. Okay, so now we've done that, we can go to the ink outline. Now, where am I going to start here? I'm going to start with the head, getting that line just right. Again, you can take your time a little bit more than I am trying to get that line right. And I think actually, let's get this arm in. That's going to go in front of that back leg. All the time when you're drawing, it's great to just keep looking back and forth at what you're drawing. So you don't even need to think about it too much. Your eyes and your brain will start to do the work. As you just look back and forth, your hand learns where it needs to go, and you will just continue to improve like that. This back leg goes in here, and this back leg we don't see much of. Now you can see also how these are sort of level here, these two back legs, obviously because they're on the same part of the ground, so that's quite important. Sobble's big tail, and we'll join up these lines here. One big sweeping motion. I quite like doing. It doesn't matter too much, I think, of the shape of the fin on the top. It's just fun to do, and it's got quite big motions. So just have fun with that. Enjoy that. Do the eyes now. What I mentioned before with Grookey was not necessarily needing to connect the eye, and possibly drawing those circles. When I say connect the eye, I mean that line around the eye. You don't need to draw the circle in one go. Maybe just leave a little gap, and that it just makes your life a little bit easier. You don't have to get everything right, and it doesn't matter too much because someone looking at it will read that line as a connected circle. Now this bit is a little bit tricky actually. If you're drawing with ink, then you might want to, if you can't rub it out, you might want to leave a little circle at the top there. Here I'm just going to rub it out. But let's say on this one, I'll draw the outside line of the pupil first, and then on the inside I'll draw 2 circles, and then you can just fill that in. Because obviously, if you're drawing with an ink pen, you can't rub that out. Oh, look at him. Bless. There we go. Mouth line there. Little nostril things. And have I missed anything? I think that's it. So there we've got Sobble inked up and ready to go. So I've obviously coloured in these previous drawings. I've kind of coloured it in my own style slightly. If you're using pencil or something, you might want to just leave some white space around the edge on one side to represent maybe where the light is coming from. So you don't need to colour up all the way up to the line. Let's say you're colouring in here, then you can just leave some white space on the left there. So now we'll do another drawing of Sobble in a slightly different pose, so you can see how those structures work and how we can move them about. Let's say we're looking at Sobble slightly from the side maybe, and he's looking up. Maybe the arms are on the ground. You've got this body shape, this circle behind, that's his body, and it says he's looking up. So he's looking up, so we'll draw the line for the eye like there. A line to go between the eyes there-ish. Mouth's probably open this time, so I'm going to do a circle for that. He's looking up, and you can't see the whole of that other eye, just part of it. Looking up at himself, shocked at quite how cool he looks. I didn't know I looked that cool, that's what he's thinking. So he's got his back legs here. So it's kind of frog-like, isn't he? He's a little bit frog-like. He's got that back leg just crouched, bent there. And the tail is another circle. I think these circles are probably quite similar in size. The back tail. So you can see how, if I follow that line from the bottom here to the top here, and then it comes in, it sort of spirals round, and then here it creates a circle, another circle in the middle of that. So you can see his tail is kind of a spiral shape there. And at the top here, we're going to have that fun fin. Now, I think actually the arms don't quite feel long enough there, so maybe they'd be bent a bit more like this. He looks up. So we'll start with the head. I'm going to use my same technique as the eye, so you don't need to do the whole circle in one go. You can just do parts of it. That was one go. I actually find it a little bit easier sometimes to go a little bit quicker with these drawings. You've got that bottom of the mouth there, so in these, with these Pokemon, when they open their mouths, they sort of separated and simplified in simple shapes. So you've got like the bottom of the mouth is delineated by this line here. Draw a little circle there for where the shine goes at the top of the eye. You don't see much of this other eye here, so I'm just giving a little suggestion of that. Just a little cheek. So you probably might want to draw these two legs first, but what I've done is I've also using these lines to draw them up, so it kind of alternate between drawing one and the other. You just want to make sure that they don't overlap, so that it feels like that foot is in front of the body shape. And then we can draw this tail as a sort of spiral. What I've done with the tail there, I've drawn a spiral starting from this point, moving round to the back. Then I'm going to draw the circle in the middle, and then I'm going to link up these lines. So you can see in the tail here how those lines all link up. So it's a little bit tricky. Got that done. So what we've got here is Sobble looking up in awe at himself, mouth open here. There you go.